All right, our frequent flyers, your pal Roger Wilco here. For this episode of Roger and Jimmy's product reviews, we are going to talk about Penfolds wine today. We got the Chinese New Year coming up, and Jimmy, have a couple questions because
I'm ready.
Penfolds is loved by our Chinese customers, and I want to know why. I also want to know what these bins mean because I have customers come in here and they ask me for certain bins. I have no idea what that means. So I come and get you. And some of these price points on Penfolds wines are absolutely astronomical. What makes wine cost what it does? And I know there's a story behind Penfolds, so maybe if you can kind of bring us into that a little bit, that's what this is all about. So stay tuned.
We're going to talk about Penfolds today, and you can't talk about Penfolds without talking about Penfolds Grange. It's in every collector's cellar worldwide. It is a Bordeaux blend, and it was put together as a blend by a guy named Max Schubert right after World War II. And as far as it getting high prices, it also got high scores. In fact, in 2008, got 100 points, and that wasn't just by the Denver Chronicle. It got 100 points by a bunch of different magazines, including Wine Spectator. It was on the map way before then, but it got on a whole lot of other people's maps after it got 100 points. Penfold Grange is a Bordeaux blend. Cab Merlot, Petit Verdot, Malbec, and Cab Franc. They're all different prices because every vintage is different. And as far as it being expensive compared to other things, it comes down to where the grapes are grown. And this is possibly the best place to grow this. It certainly is the best place to grow Shiraz. And they have other bins. Now, bins was actually started by it was a storage bin. But then eventually the bins got to be separate blends. So we have bin 389. They call this the Baby Grange. It's still expensive, but it's nowhere near the $400 and $500 bottle. And then you can get 407. 407 is cab, but it's pretty allocated, and we do have it. We have it at a great price also. We have St. Henry Shiraz here. Even though it says Shiraz, it has a little bit of cab blended in. And then we have the RWT. RWT was actually called, it was RWT for Red Wine Trial. They had no idea that it was going to catch on like this. But Max Schubert was a crazy blending fool, and he came up with these great bottles. Penfold actually started by Christopher Penfold. He was a physician, and he wanted to go to South Australia and make a tonic for anemia, and he might have done it. So anyway, we also have for value, and even their, quote, lower end bottles are terrific. They drink way beyond their price. So if you can stop in, we're going to be tasting a bunch of these. I can't believe we're opening these.
3 Penfolds Grange bottles, 3 price points, all the way up to $600, and it looks like the same exact bottle. Why? What makes this one more expensive than this one when labeling looks the same?
It all comes down to the vintage, and each vintage had different blends. Although they might use the same grapes, they're going to blend one a little bit more than the other, maybe more cab here, maybe a little bit more Merlot there. They're aiming for a very specific profile. That's one reason. It's a big reason. Then there's also the score that it got, and scores matter. And it's not like it's the Denver Chronicle, like I said, deciding it got a 90 this or a 91 that. But Penfold Grange is always at the top. In fact, 2008 got 100 points, which is staggering. And that does change changes the landscape. People will pay more. Supply and demand matters.
Now that you say that, so I just want to point out to everyone watching at home, vintage 2012, 2013, 2014. 2014 being the most expensive brings me to another question.
Yes.
Doesn't wine get better with age? I would think 2012 had time to sit in the barrel?
It does not. It does not. In fact, the majority, when you think about it, wine doesn't get better with age. So few bottles get better with age. The ones that can, and the ones that are made to age, they have more tannins, and they're built to age. You'll see that phrase a lot. There's other wines, they're not. In fact, I think most times it's about a 3 to 7 year run. Past that, possibly get better, but you're rolling the dice. So it's not that wine gets better with age. In fact, if you're going just by percentage, wine does not get better with age.
I apologize to everyone who has drank at Roger's house, and I've pulled out some older bottles that I have, and I think they probably taste amazing, so I apologize. I'm not a wine guy. Again, this is why we do these videos, Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. I just learned that myself. I hope some of you at home may have learned that if you weren't sure of it, because I've always just had that in my head that wine gets better with age. Very interesting to know. Penfolds, amazing wines. I mean, this is coming from Jimmy, our sommelier, who has just a mastery of knowledge when it comes to these wines and what they offer. Again, depending on when you're watching this video, we are tasting this weekend, January 18th, Saturday. We will be tasting this at the store. And some of these bottles, not all, we won't be tasting the Grange.
We're pouring these.
But the Baby Grange and some of these others, very high-end bottles, we will be tasting. So if you're interested in what Penfolds is all about and what they have to offer, as well as maybe getting some more knowledge with Jimmy, which is always free to our customers, and I think you'll learn a lot like I did today. Please make sure you stop on down and check us out.
The yield that they had, how were the grapes? And if they're pristine and perfect, they're going to make these big, great bottles of wine, but they're going to be a little bit more expensive. So it depends on the vintage.
This is fantastic.
We're
Look,
filming.
You're good.
Oh.
I was trying to point the camera out, but that's all right. All right, so we're back. I don't want.
Like I said, the 2008 got 100 points. Over that one.